Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to
Mind Body Stuff.
I'm Kaylee.
I'm Bernice.
How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Are you?
I'm a little tired.
Fresh as a daisy?
A little tired from our training we just had in the Twin Cities.
In the Twin Cities.
How about you?
I'm good. Tired,
Tired?
but I'm good.
I feel pretty excited to be here, back in the office. Got a bunch of stuff done at the house this morning.
Well, you leave for Hawaii in 2 days.
I know, I have to go visit my mom.
Visit your mom.
My mama.
Well, yes, but then that means maybe I get a lazy end of the week because you'll be gone.
That's right. We won't have a lot of stuff to do without me around.
Without you around. Yeah, we're coming to the end of summer.
End of summer. I know. That's why I'm sad, because it's like I have to squeeze everything in before school starts for us on August 28th.
I know, and Huxley turns 5 on Wednesday.
That's right.
Big deal. 5. I feel like 5's a big number.
5's, and she starts kindergarten.
And she starts kindergarten.
And then a week
from Wednesday.
A week later, she'll start kindergarten. It's a big transition.
It is a big transition.
What are we going to talk about today?
You tell me.
I think we're going to talk about transitions.
So what about transitions?
Well, I don't know. I think, what do you guys think about transitions? Because sometimes transitions are so exciting.
Right.
And sometimes they can be so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they can be a combination of both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like both exciting and hard. And sometimes they're just hard.
Yeah.
There's nothing really good about them. At least in the moment when we're going through it. Doesn't feel good.
Right.
But perhaps on the way out, or as we've transitioned out and gotten to the next chapter, then we can look back and see maybe some of the good things that came out of it.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting time because we've been witnessing a lot of transitions. Our training, there are a lot of people in transitions during training this weekend.
Yeah.
And then for us, the minor transition of just summer ending.
Yeah, I think that really affects people.
It never used to affect me. I never used to even think about it.
When did it start?
It probably started maybe the last 5 years or so.
It never affected you when your older kids were going back into school?
Not really. I was so
excited to get rid of
Yeah, kind of excited to transition out of the rafting summer that was so frenetic.
Yeah.
And then transition back to our house and just normal schedule and have kids in school.
Right.
But now I'm like, oh no.
Right.
The summer's over and I didn't get to do all the things I wanted to do.
Well, I know, because now you work here.
Now I have a real job. Well, it's not really a real job. I mean, it's a real job. It doesn't feel like a real job. It doesn't feel like a real job because we do such fun stuff.
When am I ever going to have a real job? See, that just legitimizes my insecurities that this is not real.
Well, it's real, but...
It's not real, but why isn't this job real?
I think it's a real job to Lindy and Julie and everyone else. It's a real job.
Oh, but not to you or me?
Well, I don't know. For me, I'm like, it doesn't seem real because we get to do cool stuff.
But a lot of people have cool jobs.
Yeah, but not like our job.
I don't know. I don't know. It's funny because I don't consider it a real job either. But
I mean,
then
what about
I think
actors?
I have a lot of insecurities about this not being a real job.
I think actors and actresses have the same thing.
Do you think?
Oh yeah, I think that they do them films and stuff. You know? And then afterwards they're like, well, what's your job? And you're like, I'm an actress, and everyone's like, okay. It's not. It doesn't feel like, real jobs feel like I work as a nurse in the hospital. Right. I think it's like I go there from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Right.
And I have this set. I do all these real things. Mm-hmm. So I think even for actors, their job doesn't feel real.
Right.
REAL, real. It feels more fantasy-like.
I get it. I'm like, why are you spelling O? Because film real.
Yeah, exactly.
REAL. Oh, that's cute.
Okay. And I think it's the same thing because it's like, of course it's a real job.
Right.
You can't say to who would be a famous actor that you don't have a real job.
Right.
But they might even dispute that.
Yeah. They may.
It's sort of like defining success.
Sorry, I gotta go to work and dance around and hang out with my friends. It's like,
I have to go choreograph a song.
Excuse me, I'm very busy.
I've got to choreograph this song. Everyone's like, oh, okay. That's a interesting job.
It's funny, yeah.
So I think that's what makes it hard to say real.
Yeah.
In the sense of how maybe in my mind I define real job as, which is incorrect.
But in the past, you did used to spend a lot of your summer at the ranch.
The whole summer at the ranch.
So you probably were excited to come back into town, and the kids would go to school, and you could have your normalcy back.
Yes.
But now you just have to. Now you don't have that. Now you're like, where'd my summer go?
Yeah, now I'm like, oh no, I didn't get to do this or that or as much as I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so now it's like I feel like I'm trying to fit it all in.
Yeah, totally.
You know, and then I didn't visit my mom as much back then either because she was much younger and it wasn't like a big deal.
She didn't want you around, let's be honest.
She didn't want me around. That's exactly right. She would just be like, see you at Christmas, you know. That is so true because now she's like, where are you? When you coming? Because she's lonely, which I don't blame her. She's 94 and old and lonely, but you know, totally capable still. But she's just like, when are you coming? So I have all this guilt of like, when am I coming? How do I fit it in?
Right.
Whereas before it wasn't like that.
But for all of our listeners out there, like I think everyone goes through some sort of a transition at the season changes. But I think most impactfully between summer and fall.
Yes.
And you can start to feel a little bit of a sadness in the air.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and for those of you who don't know, Missoula is very, very cloudy in the winter. And it's very common for people to suffer from seasonal affective disorder because it's so cloudy. So a lot of people get depressed here in the winter. So I think there's something like a little bit anxious about all of us who live here knowing that that's coming.
Well, and this year in particular, that's such a good point. And this year in particular, it didn't get warm till like mid-July. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it didn't really feel like summer.
It didn't really feel like you could swim.
Sure.
And so I feel like some summers, which is bad for the planet probably here, but it heats up right in the beginning of July, like you're just, or even sometimes in June. But this summer it heated up really late. So I think we were all, you know, we had these like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and now we're like, uh-oh.
It's over now.
That's it.
Yeah.
Although my husband keeps reminding me, like, well, summer's not over till,
September 21st.
September 21st.
Exactly.
And I'm like, well, it's over because school starts. Yeah. He's like, well, but seasonally, he's trying to say it's not over.
Yeah.
Which is a good point. But of course, we line everything up by the things we do.
Yeah.
You know, like school's going to start, so we have to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And like I haven't done the school shopping yet. I don't know about you people, but my list for 7th grade is massive. A massive 7th grade list. I can't tell you. They're like white notebook, loose leaf paper for math, along with a white folder and numbered 2 pencils and a green pen. Now, for science, we need a blue folder, a blue binder. I'm like, oh, my goodness, come on, folks. I think they can think for themselves already. We're going to, like, color code their classes.
Oh, man.
Anyway, I'm just, like, kind of dreading the giant school supply list.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's part of life, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So how are you? You're probably excited for kindergarten to start.
Well, yeah, I am. I'm excited. I don't know. I kind of want to talk about like bigger like transitions though for this podcast because I feel like
I was going to build on that one, but you go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, yeah, it feels good. I'm excited.
Good. It's your first kid.
Yeah, it's my first kid. We're excited. I don't have like that crazy sadness that everyone's like, my baby's going to kindergarten. I'm like, yeah, she's ready. She's going to kindergarten.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
I didn't have it till like Ray went.
Yeah.
The last one. Which I should have thought that Sam was the last one.
Well.
But I was kind of burnt out by it. And then I got Ray, and then when I had Ray, it was kind of like, you know, you just know that's your last one. And there is that kind of sadness.
Yeah.
And that is those transitions of saying goodbye or, you know, even I was thinking about like how hard it is now because I know how many people complain about having older parents and they're kind of stuck in the middle a little bit because you got kids and then you got older parents. So it's hard to watch my mom transition to this a weaker stage kind of where she needs me where before she didn't. And that's kind of a hard transition to watch.
I'm sure
that life transition happen. And then you can't help but think like, well, if I get that old, how will my transition be? I always like apply it back to myself. Like, I'm like, when my kid does this, how will I do that? You know, I'm always like 10 years ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because it ruins, of course, the moment that you're in. But those big life transitions are so hard, you know, like when you go to college, everyone's so excited. That's a big, hard transition, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And then graduating from college is a big transition because everyone's like, what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
What's your plan? And then you get married. And then everyone's like, how many kids are you going to have? You going to have kids? Mm-hmm. What's your job? What's your career?
Right.
And then you have kids, and then your kids grow up. You know, kids go to college. And everyone's like, how you doing? Your kids are looking at schools now. How you doing with that? And you're like, great, doing great. Yeah, awesome. And then your kids graduate from college, and then there's a whole nother, you know, it's just this. And then it's like, oh, your kid's going to have a kid. Aren't you excited? You're going to be a grandparent. That's a whole nother transition.
Right.
All these transitions built in.
Yeah.
And you just don't know how are you going to deal with them.
Right.
But what were you thinking in terms of transition?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously think we all can agree that transitions are really difficult times in people's lives. I feel like, I mean, I'm in a transition right now, just with Huxley going to school and the season changing. I feel like I'm looking forward to this transition. I feel like the biggest transition that we're going through, like, is with the house and the studio, but I keep talking about in the podcast. So I feel like we don't need another episode about that sort of transition for me in my personal life. Just kind of working through all of that still, but
that's so interesting though. That's like an active transition, you know, like that's something that happens in your midlife, you know, like
in your midlife.
Yeah. Like how you're like expanding, you know, like it's like about growing and,
right.
And there's excitement in that and there's fear in that.
Sure. Yeah.
And so it's just so interesting how there in our lifespan, there's this quality of expansion. I think we're supposed to be expanding too.
Yeah.
And then as we get to the end of our life, there's this quality of, what's the word of opposite of expansion?
Contraction?
Of contraction, maybe where things get less, or you're supposed to be paring everything down.
Yeah, like downsizing. Everyone downsizing,
right? It's such interesting contrast to see the stress in the expansion transition of midlife versus the stress in the contraction transition of end of life. Or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, sure.
And that each of them hold equal amounts of stress, kind of. But in different ways.
Yeah.
If you look at them kind of layered on each other, like, oh, so this is the expansion time. And what will the contraction time look like? Mm-hmm. You know, how does that work?
Yeah.
I was really thinking about it because two friends of ours committed suicide recently. And they just turned 30. Both of them, a male and a female, not related in any way. And I think they're in this transition period. And I don't know, you guys can add to this, and maybe I'm wrong, of kind of you transitioning from your 20s to your 30s. And there's this idea of like, you know, you're expanding and you're going to be meeting partners or, you know, or whatever it is, you know, having children or not having children or, but being successful somehow in that expansion. Yeah. And I feel like both of these people felt that some way they were not successful or they weren't hitting that time period successfully as we imagine it to be. Yeah. And they just couldn't, they just didn't want to be here because they felt like failures because they weren't following that kind of projected timeline.
Yeah. That there's so much like pressure that people feel to hit those timelines.
Yeah, exactly. It's those transition periods where it's like, oh, you know, you wish you could step in and tell someone like, oh, if you can just hang through this time period, it probably will be better.
It'll get better.
Yeah, in a few years or something.
Well, I mean, maybe it will, but like, I mean, like, so yeah, we were traveling yesterday and I just got like fixated on this woman and her two kids. And she was like, just like very, she was just on her phone the whole time. She had her headphones in. She had two little girls, maybe like 2.5 or 3 and maybe 5.
Yeah.
I would say around there.
Yeah.
And the mom just like, I never saw her smile. She had her headphones in. She was like, on her phone, like texting a little bit, but obviously she was listening to something too. And of course, I have no idea. Like maybe she's played with her kids all summer and is coming home after spending, 2 months at a lake. I have no idea. But of course, being a human, I made up a story about her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like Mom, you're totally not connecting with your girls. They're literally just sitting there. It kind of was odd how quiet and behaved I felt like they were.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. They're not even asking her.
They weren't even like, hey, Mom, hey, Mom. So to me, that appeared as though they were used to this type of behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, I know that my kids, like if I'm too long on my phone or whatever, Huxley will be like, get off your phone, or can I send a message? Because, they're like, oh, are we on our phone now? Well, if you're on your phone, I'm going to take your phone, and now I'm going to send a message to someone. Like, they interact with me while I'm on the phone.
Yes.
But you could tell these girls were just used to not interacting with their mom.
Right.
In a weird way. I don't know. Again, I'm making all this up.
Yes, we don't know, but just in...
And so they fly back into Missoula, and I see them waiting at, like, baggage claim. And then, it's like 10 something at night. Then I watched, and she doesn't have a wedding ring on. And whatever. I don't even wear a wedding ring because my fingers got too fat after I had babies. And I'm a brat, so I'm waiting for Rob to upgrade my ring.
And mine's stuck.
And he won't upgrade it. Mine off. So I won't wear one.
Good girl.
As you can imagine, that's just how I am.
Yes.
So she doesn't have a wedding ring on. He walks in. And he doesn't have a wedding ring on either. So I'm like, well, maybe they're divorced and he's, coming to pick up the girls. Cause I had a very like fluid relationship with my parents in that way. Even though they were divorced, they were still, around each other a lot. We were all around each other a lot. So I was like, well, maybe they're divorced, but I watched these girls, and the mom was like on her phone, messaging with someone. And then as soon as the dad showed up, she like put the phone in the backpack and zipped it up.
Ooh.
Like zipped it up.
She knew.
And she'd had her phone out all the time. I mean, we saw her in the Twin Cities airport. Like she was on her phone a lot, this woman was.
And she had headphones in too.
And headphones. And as soon as the dad shows up, she like zips up the phone and the phone's gone. And the girls like ran over to their dad, and you could tell he was like the demonstrative one. He was like rubbing their backs and getting down on their level. He was like kneeling down. And anyways, then he walked over to the mom, and I was super curious if they were divorced or like what the situation was. Cause she kind of gave him just like a little smile, and then they just like did a side hug, and it was pretty short. But then they stood together, it seemed like, as a family. So I don't know what the situation was, but in this woman's case, of course, I'm just making up a story about her, which I have no idea. Right. So just, of course, let's just keep that as the disclaimer.
We'll go with it.
We're just going to go with it. We're going to go with it because I think that there are a lot of people out there in this situation that I'm putting on her. I was thinking about her, and I was thinking, what if she never wanted to be a mom?
Oh.
What if she never wanted to get married?
Oh. Good point.
But what if like the pressure that society puts on us as these different mile markers to hit, and this means you've done a good job. Oh. You're married by this age. You're good. You're following along. You're staying on schedule. You're on task. Like, I just looked at her, and she kept, I got obsessed with this woman because I do that sometimes. And I was like, B, watch her. She keeps clenching her jaw.
Yeah, she was
this incredibly thin woman. And it just seemed like everything was very much in control about her life. And she kept clenching her jaw. And I was like, I don't think she's happy.
And she wasn't clenching her jaw when she was on her phone.
No, she was clenching her jaw when it was like her family's around and the kids are like now being super playful and interactive. The phone was away and the dad's around, and she just kind of walked off to the side even and was like standing there alone, like clenching her jaw. And I was like, maybe this woman would have been a lot happier if she didn't feel the pressure to transition at the pace that the rest of the world or the country you live in or whatever that they tell you need to be transitioning at that point.
That's
and
such a good
I was just,
point.
I don't know, I was just thinking about her. I'm like, what if you're just not living the life that you were meant to be living, or that you would be most joyful or most like, able to contribute in positive ways because you felt the pressure to like keep up.
Oh, that's such a good point, because maybe you don't have to do all the things in your head that you think you need to do.
Right.
Or even for these folks that I talked about before who committed suicide, just an aside note as we just think about the topic, if it was more open-ended, like, okay, so this isn't working, how about these other ways of being in the world?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so maybe a partner isn't going to be the thing.
Yeah.
Because of all the other things that are going on in your life.
Right.
Whatever it might be. So maybe there are different ways you could feel fulfillment in your world without having to have all these markers that have been set out for us.
Right.
And there's strange markers. I mean, they're so cultural for us.
They're so cultural.
Because it's like, I was just thinking about, we had an attendee in the training who is in her senior year of high school, getting ready to go to college. And when she would talk, it was great because I was reminded of all that kind of weird, that time period.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, oh, I remember feeling like such a failure because I didn't know where I wanted to go to college.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know how to do it.
Yeah.
And somehow it was like, I don't know, like people just know how to do it, how to apply to colleges and stuff. I was like, I don't know, like, how do you do that? And then, and I just didn't know where I wanted to go or anything.
Yeah.
And then everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go to blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And I remember feeling like there was something wrong with me because I couldn't think of a place that I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Or what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I had no idea at the age of 17.
But most 17-year-olds don't.
No, but they still go to college.
Yeah.
There's still that,
which I think is why it's so great that now people are like building in a gap year.
Yes.
Because that's a really common practice in Europe to have like,
oh, that's a good point.
A gap year or to have, right? Isn't it?
Yeah. It's a gap year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even in some some schools, don't they build in? Wasn't Obama going to do like a
study, like a volunteer
something
program,
like for 2 years between high school and college?
Yeah, and one of his kids took a gap year.
Yeah, and I think that's so healthy. Like Rob, for example, he went to University of Puget Sound right after high school. And he just didn't know what he wanted to do. And he is so smart.
So smart.
He's so smart. But he basically flunked out of college because he just
That's what I did.
Sat in his room. And you're so smart too. And you basically flunked out of college because he just wasn't ready. You probably just weren't ready. And so what he needed to do is he became a mountaineering guide and he traveled around the world guiding. And when he was in South America, he got really interested in wildlife biology and conservation. And he worked as a volunteer on these different projects and at people's, at their homes and stuff. And then he decided that he wanted to go to school for wildlife biology. So that's when he moved to Missoula because we have the best wildlife biology program in the country.
Oh, that's right.
So he came to the University of Montana and that's how we met and all that. But he wouldn't have gotten there had he not explored a little bit because you're just on this like fast track of like, high school, get good grades. You can get into a good college to do what? Like to do what? What do you want to do?
I have no idea.
How do these people know yet? How do they know? They're 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, they're so young. And I think there's a lot of difficulty with that transition just because of that. One of the reasons with that transition from high school to college.
Right.
Because it's like, and I flunked out too because it was almost like, I have no idea why I'm here.
I think that's how he felt too. He's like,
no
I
idea.
don't know why, and I don't care about any of this stuff.
I don't care about it, and I'm not motivated to do any of it. I don't feel any connection to it.
But then it's funny for me because, like, I have a tendency to like to get things done.
Oh,
sorry. Rob's calling. He can tell we're talking about him. He's like, how dare you tell these podcast listeners I flunked out of college.
Information.
Sorry, dude. You shouldn't have flunked out of college if you didn't want people to know about it.
That's because you're so smart now. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Anyways, what was I trying to say? Oh, because I have I like to get things done. I was very much like, get it, just get done with college. Just get done with it.
Check.
Just like check it off, So I applied for college when I was in Spain as an exchange student because I didn't know how to apply for college either.
Yeah.
I had to do it by myself in a foreign country.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know how to do this. So I just like filled out the forms. I'm like, I'll just start at the U of M at the University of Montana here in Missoula. I'm like, but then after a year, like I'll transfer. I'll go somewhere else. And I had like a full ride scholarship to the University of Montana. So I was like, okay, I'll just go there. It's free. I can, whatever. It's fine. But then I just got comfortable and so I just stayed. But then, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I was just like, I want to get done with school. I'm just going to get done with this so that I can move on. And then, it took me a while, but the things that I'm doing now, like I couldn't learn any of that in college either. I almost felt like it was a waste of my time because I'm like, I don't care about any of this and I'm never going to use any of this. So what's the point?
Right.
Just get done with it. And I'm a great test taker. So I got good grades because I'm good at taking tests.
Right.
But I don't remember anything I learned in college. I remember everything I learned in my yoga teacher training. I remember all of that.
Because you were passionate
about that. Because I cared. Because it resonated with me. I didn't learn anything in college. I mean, some things I'm sure I remember more. But like accounting, like macroeconomics and microeconomics, I cannot tell you anything about any of that.
Right. Yeah.
Hated it.
Yeah. But you finished.
But I finished.
Yeah, you finished.
I finished.
And that's what Mike graduated early too.
Yeah, I'm just like, just let me get done with this.
Yeah.
And then I'll figure it out.
Yeah, and then that's it, and that transition is like, you're just like, work, just go get it done. Work.
But it's so funny because Rob, he took extra time because he was so curious about all these things that he would just sign up for all these classes because he was curious, and he wanted to learn.
Yeah, what about this? Or microbiology.
I know, and it's so different than me. Yeah. And he loved it. And then he went back and he went to grad school in England and, he loves to learn. Yeah. But me, I'm like, I want to get done with it so I can actually go do something.
And then what did you do after college? Or did you feel any pressure after college to be like, I know when I graduated, it was kind of like, now what are you going to do?
Right. Well, you and I probably had different pressures because you were from a wealthy family. So you didn't have the pressure to financially take care of yourself as much.
No.
Whereas when I was done with college, it was a financial pressure to take care of myself. So, there's a different sort of urgency with some of that. Mm-hmm. But like and this is where we find our strength in the struggle is I couldn't find a job. Like this town, everybody is overeducated and we just don't have the jobs. Mm-hmm. And so I was applying for things such as like filing at like a law firm and couldn't even get those jobs. Like I couldn't get hired anywhere. So I was doing just like I was like finding weeding jobs on Craigslist, and I'd like, weed people's lawns and worked at a taco shop and stuff like that. But what it did is then it drove me to, then I opened I've shared this. Then I opened a cooking business where I'd go into people's houses and I'd cook them like, soups and casseroles and things. And so they'd have like a week's worth of meals and all that stuff. So then I just became an entrepreneur, essentially. I started that business.
That's where it started.
Yeah, because I couldn't find a job. So I was like, you better make yourself a job. So you can't find one, you're going to make yourself one. So then I started that business, blah, blah, blah. The rest is history. But then that really set me on the path to being an entrepreneur.
Right, because you'd already done it. I mean, you'd already been an entrepreneur, so you were more comfortable with doing that in other, as continuing that venue.
I love the process of starting. Yes. I love starting new things. Yeah. Like, you guys know that I'm stressed out about opening this new studio. However, I'm now even like thinking about, I'm like, then we'll open the coffee shop, juice bar, and then I'm like already picking out the name of this place and like thinking about like what the like logo and design and all that stuff would be. I'm like, calm down, Kaylee, calm down. But I love that. I love creation. I love creation.
Yes.
So usually like transitions that put me into something new are exciting, but I have a difficulty with things ending.
With ending and nothing to look forward to, perhaps. In that sense.
Yeah, or how to create like resolution. I don't know, like, Yeah, maybe nothing to look forward to, but like, how do you let something go?
Right. Yeah. In what sense do you mean that? Like the end of summer or?
Well, just in anything, like, if and when ULA ends, like that's going to be, it's just like like seeing things end. I think that's very common for people to struggle with.
Yeah, the ending. Yeah. Endings are hard for sure. But I worry, sometimes I think beginnings are so hard too for some people.
Some people, yes, beginnings are so for sure.
Because I just think of those, the ending of college and the beginning of a career. For me, we did have, I didn't have to have a job to make money per se, but there was a lot of pressure in terms of performance.
Right. Yes.
Like, so my sisters were both PhDs. Yes. So there was suddenly that feeling of like, uh-oh. Because part of me was like, now I'll get a job as a waitress.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to be like,
I wanted
to. I just wanted to see what it's like.
Yeah.
And everybody was doing that.
Yes, exactly. And, all your peers were.
All my peers were doing that. And so, but in my family groups, when you would get the question asked, what are you going to do? And then it would be all this stuff. It's even happening now. Like my family doesn't listen to this podcast, so I'm going to say it anyway. I hope they're not listening.
I told my family not to, but okay. I found out some of them do.
Oh, I'm hoping.
Sorry.
So none of the nephews or anything, but it's fine if you are. But even for them now, my nephews and nieces it's kind of like, well, so-and-so's in the financial district in San Francisco.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, wow, right. That's a lot. I'm like, most people, I don't know, it just seems like they just went right from college and now they're all in these like very successful careers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the only thing I think about is like, oh, did you get to think about it?
Right.
Like, is that really where you want to be? In the financial district in San Francisco?
Right.
When you're 25?
Right.
And maybe you do. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But for those of us who maybe don't want to be there quite yet or ever.
Right.
Like, are you happy there?
Right.
And that's when I worry about, feelings of depression or confusion. Because you're just trying to fit yourself into a box, like you talked about earlier. And maybe it's not a box that's your box.
Yeah. Not my box.
Not my box. But you're just like, well, everyone says I should go to the financial district.
Right.
And
well, especially when all your peers are. And I'm sure they went to colleges, universities, that their peers then went there.
That's a very good point.
None of my peers are in the financial district in anywhere. Like,
right.
We're all like, now what? Should we go float the river today?
Right.
It's like it also, like, you make a lot of choices that then lead you to those, it's like you kind of get on your path and then you're on your path.
Yes.
Which I think then can also make it more
difficult
to get off when all your peers are on that path.
And I wonder if that's a really, like, where people get stuck sometimes when they want to get off.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know how.
What is this going to mean for my social life? What does this mean for my relationships? How people perceive me?
Right.
Blah, blah,
right.
Blah,
will I look like a failure to them?
Will I look like a failure?
And maybe,
are we still going to get the invite to the Christmas party?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
All that stupid shit.
Yeah. And that's such big stuff that sometimes you don't know, you don't think about until you're in it.
Yeah.
Don't you think sometimes, like, suddenly you're in it and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here in New York in the financial district and this is where everyone is. And I'm like, maybe I didn't.
You're like, I want to be a bee farmer.
I want to be a bee farmer in Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly.
Or something. And you're like, how? And of course, people do that all the time, which is awesome.
No, exactly. But that's like a ballsy thing to say, like,
ballsy.
I don't want to make $500,000 a year. I want to go, be outside and collect honey and sell it at the farmer's market.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I want to be part of nature.
Yeah.
And I want my kids to grow up that way.
For sure. And I feel like there's a trend going back towards that. But I think that's a lot of the work that we do with ULA is getting people to live from their heart, not from their head.
Mm-hmm.
The head is probably going to tell you, go to San Francisco, New York City, work in the financial district, check all the boxes, marry the pretty girl, have the 2.5 kids, drive this car. You are successful.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to look up to you. They're going to envy you. You're going to have made it, you'll get the status, the recognition, you'll validate your self-worth through all of these checked boxes, but it's not the way of the heart, unless that is the way of your heart. But I just don't think it's usually the way of the heart.
I mean, maybe for a few people it is.
For a few people, awesome. They are just happy to do that.
Right.
But I don't know a lot of people who experience true joy just, checking off those boxes.
Yeah, and I think that's when they wake up one day, whatever, in their midlife, and they're like, how'd I get here?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And then how do I extricate myself, and can I? And
yeah.
will I survive it? Mm-hmm. Thinking like, maybe I won't survive it. I don't know.
Right.
Or I don't know. It's just so interesting to see how, what, and then I love what you said about it's important what schools you pick.
Yeah.
Because,
your social group,
and also that's where everyone's going to be pushing you.
Yeah.
And I didn't really think of it at the time, because the school I went to is like, of course you're going to go to all these schools. But then, of course, I didn't fit into them, because it was like, I don't really want to do any of this stuff. And then when I met Mike, who was just salt of the earth type person, who was like, I graduated, and then I met him at this ski resort, because I was there on spring break, and I'm like, how'd you get here? And he was like, well, I attended a course in some law enforcement course he had to take for to be a park ranger. And then he's like, on the drive back, I only had $60. And I'm like, what? He's like, I only had $60. So I had to stop and get a job. I'm like, you had to stop and get a job in a strange place?
Yeah, right.
And he was like, well, I drove and my car kind of was running out of gas, and I stopped at this place called Soda Springs in California. And then I just asked at the gas station, is anyone hiring around here? And they said, oh, that ski resort down the road's hiring.
That's awesome.
And that's how we got the job.
Yeah.
And then that's how I ended up meeting him.
Right.
And he was just, I don't have that resourcefulness. And I wasn't taught it. It wasn't modeled for me.
You didn't need it.
And I didn't need it. It wasn't modeled for me. It's probably a good thing to model regardless. Because just one never knows where one may end up in one's life. So, and that's why, some transitions for me are harder, or in my mind are harder. But maybe for you and Mike are not as hard, because you're just like, well, we've already done that.
Yeah.
Like, we've survived that.
Right.
Like, you're, this is what you do.
Yeah, this is what you do.
You mean I don't just have to, like, freak out or stop or,
But you're so good about different types of transitions. You're good at other types of things like that.
Yeah, I'm just not good at the
Well, that's a big one. Running out of money and figuring out how to get a job.
Whoa.
I mean, that's a big one.
That's very big.
I don't know if I've ever been. I don't think that. I think I know how to be more cautious.
Yes.
Like, I don't think I would get myself into the situation, because I'm not as much of a free spirit as that. I think Mike has some deep knowing that I'll be okay no matter what. Obviously, in the last whatever podcast, that's the one that made me cry. I'll be okay no matter what is my affirmation.
Yes.
Whereas I think Mike could probably say, I'll be okay no matter what, and not have a tinge of emotion attached to it.
I think you're exactly right.
So for
you
me,
hit the nail on the head for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he would be okay no matter what.
Mike would be okay literally no matter what.
My leg's broke. I'm going to just sort of strap it to the sapling.
Yeah. And he's like, now I'm just going to enjoy my porch and play music and, whatever. Like, he'll be okay.
Yes.
So I think he was probably like, yeah, I end up here. I'll be okay. I'll figure it out.
That's such a great way. And so I'm just thinking, like, in the broader perspective of transition.
Sure.
That's probably why he handles transition better than me.
Because he knows he'll be okay no matter what.
Whoa! And I am like constantly like, what about this transition?
Right.
What are you going to do now?
Right.
And he's like, what do you mean what am I going to do now?
Yeah. He's
like, I'm not even thinking about it. Yeah. Like, you deal with that.
Right.
And I'm like, it's the end of summer. And he was like, yes.
Yep.
And it's like, what is that? He's like, and?
Yeah.
What does that mean? And I'm like, I don't know. That means no more hot days. I mean, you can't swim. And he was like, yeah. Right. Then it's winter.
Yeah. Exactly.
Then you do other stuff.
Exactly.
But so maybe that's the key to making transitions easier.
Right. I'm telling you, there's something to this affirmation.
Oh, just not the lady.
It's going to haunt you. We're going to bring this video
on the last
yes,
one?
I did. And you know what? Everybody wrote me and they said what a beautiful jingle it was, and they asked for the link to YouTube.
A jingle.
It's a jingle, okay? It's Ed Sheeran's Shape of You in the background.
Shape of You? It's to small children.
They don't know it's a Shape of You song. I'm telling you that. That's a pretty transformative little affirmation.
Who are the people that messaged her about that?
It's none of your business.
Send it to me.
It's none of your business.
Send it to me.
No, none of your business.
Anyway, back to our topic.
Hater. But I think there is something to that. I think that's how you can transition. And, I don't know if there was mental illness or what happened with, your kids' friends who recently committed suicide. But there obviously was not that sense of I will be okay no matter what.
You're exactly right. No,
it was like, I cannot survive this.
Yes.
I cannot survive this.
Yes. And I feel that sometimes in my life.
Yeah.
I feel like I cannot survive it.
Sure.
And then I'm like, maybe I could kill myself.
You've been, you're very
suicidal.
open that you've been suicidal.
Yes. And then I have to think, because then I'm like, well, how nice. And then everything will be done. And then,
bum, bum, bum. And that's done.
Check that off. All done. No worries about her anymore. But you forget about all the people you leave behind, of course, in that picture scenario. So I have to remind myself when I feel that way, in case anyone else is feeling that way, as I'm sure you are out there, some of you, that, I just remind myself of a bunch of people aren't going to be okay, though.
Yeah.
If I do that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Disappearing isn't always the best answer.
No.
I mean, it's like, okay, so I have a mental disease and I'm not happy and I don't have a partner, but maybe if I just talk to people or maybe if I just ask for help, we'll find a way around it.
Right.
Or find something to cling on to during this time period.
What in your life has made you feel suicidal?
Oh, we struggled with money for a little while in our 40s. And I felt suicidal then. I can't do it. And I didn't want to ask my parents for help. And they had already helped us a bunch. And I just felt like a total failure compared to my sisters. I know they had never asked for help. And that was just and a part of me felt like I wouldn't survive. And Mike was just all like, well, this is what we do.
Right.
We just spend less on this and less on that.
Right.
And I was just like, what?
Right.
And to me, that felt like I was a failure.
Right. Yeah.
And so that was one of the time periods. And sometimes I'm just I want to do everything just right, just perfectly right. And when it's not right, I feel like I just shouldn't be here. I'm just messing up everyone's life.
So it's not that life was so hard. It's that you felt like you had failed at life.
I had failed. Yes.
So it wasn't life was so hard I cannot possibly live anymore. It was I am not worthy.
Yes. That's right. I'm not worthy of this life.
Yeah.
And I'm really not okay. I'm not okay no matter what.
Yes.
Because now that you say that, I think Mike definitely feels that. And so he doesn't even need the philosophical reflection of the what.
No.
So I'm always in the what.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
And he's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, right?
But I love that. I'm okay no matter what.
I'll be okay no matter what.
I'll be okay no matter what.
Well, and that's why when I was feeling super unsteady, it just broke me and I started crying because, again, I'm telling you when you have an emotional reaction, even if it's you want to throw up or you want to cry or this is dumb or how lame, it's usually because it's tapping into something on a deeper level. And for me, I'll be okay no matter what. I obviously don't believe that because it made me cry.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
Yeah. Deep down.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Right. Yeah, but I mean, all this stuff is.
I think Rob probably feels that way, though.
Oh yeah, Rob's fine.
He feels I'm okay no matter.
Oh God,
what.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't see.
He knows
him
he's
being
he doesn't panic about anything. He's totally okay no matter what. I mean, you guys, we were traveling through Cuba illegally 15 years ago, Cuba. We had to go through Canada, have to fly in. I guess this was really dumb of us, but we didn't really realize that our bank, we brought cash, but we did not bring enough cash.
Oh, geez.
Because I didn't realize that we wouldn't be able to just pull money out of an American bank in Cuba.
Oh, yeah.
So we're down in Cuba and we were with our friends from Norway. And so while they were there, they were like able to pay for some stuff for us. But then after they left, we had no money. We had to go knock on people's doors. And in Cuba at that time, like some places could legally rent out a room in their house. But remember, as a communist country, they weren't able to make money.
Oh, right.
Without like it being government,
it belongs to the government. Yeah,
it all belongs to the government. But there were these, so you'd see like this sign above people's doors if they were like legal to rent out a room to people. And so we had been staying at places like this with our friends. But after they left, we realized we had no cash. We had no access to money. We tried to book hotels through American companies like Expedia.com. We'll rent a...
Right, we'll put it on our credit card.
We'll put it on our credit card, rent a hotel room. And none of it would work.
Because you were in Cuba
Because we were in Cuba. And so we literally had to go knock on people's doors and see if we could stay at their house illegally. So those people then had to break the law, which is scary in a communist country. Yeah. And then we had to, so we were just like, I don't even know what the equivalent would have been, maybe like $5-10. And we're like, these people had to sneak us in when it was dark out. We had to leave before it got light out again to have a place to sleep. Like we had 2 or 3 days with no money. And I was like freaking out. Like I was so nervous. This is kind of funny. We bought, we had enough money for one night at this hotel and it just happened to be all-inclusive, which it wasn't very nice or anything, but it was an all-inclusive. And then we snuck out without taking our wristbands off. And then we'd stay at the random person's house, like a 30-minute walk. And then we'd walk back to the resort and sneak back in because we still had our wristband on so that we could eat and drink.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And then we'd leave again and we could do that for like 2 days. But by the time we left Cuba, we had no money to our name.
Luckily you had a flight out.
We had a flight out. Yeah. But like for Rob, it was a great adventure.
Oh, he loved it.
He loved it. He was like, this is very exciting.
Yeah.
Because deep down inside, he knows he'll be okay no matter what. And me, I was like, we're fucked. We're so fucked.
Yeah.
We're stuck in Cuba. It's illegal that we're here. Like you have to tell them not to stamp your passport. Like when you go through customs, you have to be like, please don't stamp my passport. So you got to kind of like, I mean, it was illegal to be there.
Right. Yeah, because they weren't open. Now you can go to Cuba.
Now you can, but not then. Not when we went. Mm-mm. So it was like, really kind of, I did not think we would be okay. Yeah. And it was incredibly stressful for me at the end of that trip. But yeah, he had a great time. He's like, we're fine. We're okay. It's an adventure.
That's how to see
and
life.
If we can just see life as an adventure, even in the moments that we're like, we're fucked. Yeah, if you can look at it as an adventure.
Yes. And adventures always have ups and downs.
Of course they do. The best stories
stories.
Think about Game of Thrones. I just ended season 7, the entire wall. That dragon who turned dead just took down the whole wall. I'm like, those people in that moment are thinking, we are so fucked right now. But that's not how it ends.
No,
that's not the ending.
That's right.
When you're saying I'm fucked, it's not over.
That's not the ending.
It's not the ending.
That's right. Good point.
It's not the ending.
Yeah.
But you can choose to end it at that moment.
Yes.
But it's not the ending.
But it's not the ending because the adventure continues.
Yeah. And I mean, again, I think this is mental illness aside. I think that's another, that's a whole nother
deeper
thing.
Topic.
That's a whole different topic.
Yes.
But when you're like, I can't. I can't do this. Mm-hmm. Just think about Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. GOT. I'm going to use that now.
It always goes back to Game of Thrones.
For the end of the summer now, I'm going to be like, it's like Game of Thrones. This is just the adventure. Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. That's right. The night is long and full of terrors. Anyways.
Love you guys.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
I love you, Twin Cities people. And so many of you said, I listened to the podcast and I'm sorry. I never comment and I never email, and that's okay. The fact that you guys are sparking your own conversations among your own friends and family and communities, that is totally the goal of these podcasts. So don't ever feel pressure because we're whiny and demanding. You don't ever have to respond to us or write to us, but we're just so grateful and glad you guys are talking to each other, and that hopefully these little weekly sessions inspire or help in any way.
Yes. Thank you for listening.